We return to Full Metal Panic with a primary focus on two characters who don't get as much screen time as the rest, though that recently changed with Tessa. Yes, she's one, and it starts with her clearly bothered. So she's not happy when she comes in to find Melissa has let herself into her quarters, lounging around and smoking.
If word gets out, people might start thinking I drink and smoke like a cheap bar girl, and I'd rather die than have that happen to me.
Oh, so you're saying I'm a cheap bar girl, is that it?
Well, I don't know you well enough to say that, but I do think you're a fairly big asshole. Which do you prefer? Things spiral out of control, probably because the cheap bar girl has been pounding back brews in the captain's quarters.
I like to hide underwater and sit in my chair, giving orders. That's
You're
all
way
I
out
do.
of line!
It's like Sosuke got all the military discipline and none was left over for Melissa. Tessa insists that no matter what Melissa thinks, she's perfectly capable of piloting a giant robot. Better than this savage, she says. Well, the savage calls her bluff.
If I lose the match, I'll strip down and run a lap around the base.
Suddenly I'm invested in the outcome of this challenge. Tessa is hesitant, but the sight of Melissa wearing Tessa's underwear on her head convinces her, bluff or no, she's following through on this. Tessa even issues an official order for the whole ship to read for this match, much to Kurt's and Sosuke's surprise.
Do you accept?
Of course I do. You heard what the little tart said to me, right?
If this was a normal show, you'd be wondering why people didn't suspect that the hostile life form had taken over Melissa's body. Tessa drafts Sosuke to be her coach. She needs him to whip her ass into shape. And apparently we need a close-up to properly whip it. This goes... Yeah. Remember, she's now in a love triangle, so when Sosuke tries to slip away from temptation, she stays on top of him for as long as possible. All good things must come to an end, and thanks to lots of hard work, she eventually overcomes the hardest aspect so far, climbs the ladder, and gets in the damn cockpit. Now it's just a matter of... At least she didn't fall on Sosuke that time. Somewhere a maintenance team is crying. Back at the bar...
Me too. I want another.
Maybe you should have something else, miss.
Like self-respect. Turns out Tessa really pushes Melissa's buttons.
I just couldn't stand another minute of her pretending to be Miss Strong and Independent. Always putting on a brave face, never knowing when to back down.
The last thing we want in our leader is personal strength. But getting drunk enough finally gets Melissa to admit that she's got something of an inferiority complex, and she deals with it by fucking with Tessa. While she's pickling her liver, Tessa knows that she sucks when it comes to this piloting thing, but this isn't track and field. She has to beat Melissa in a training exercise, which means that she can utilize the environment, control the battlefield to control the battle. Sosuke says this plan might work, but she'd only get one shot. Tessa's fine with that. Even if it fails, it will so surprise Melissa it'd be worth a naked jog. Well, Melissa and Kurtz are both shocked. She shows up in an old gas turbine mech than one of the state-of-the-art ones, preferring the easier handling over the cutting edge. And we're off. Melissa has Tessa in her sights, but the tree blocks the paintball shots. They wouldn't block normal bullets, but these aren't normal bullets. It's a paintball exercise. On that rock, she's actually right out in the open, nearly gets hit twice by counterfire. Things are looking good for Tessa, aren't they?
Don't fall down. I mustn't fall down.
Know your weaknesses. In her case, gravity. It seems to sink in that Melissa faces this kind of situation against actual enemy fire all the time, and Tessa's now convinced that she can't win. But Sosuke contacts her to help her push on anyway, and when Melissa loses Tessa, she leaps in to try to find and finish this off. And it is finished off.
Please, hit it!
She's screwed, blued, and tattooed. She pisses and moans until Sosuke notes that she failed due to negligence, implying that if that's the case, then everything else is just an excuse to cover her genuine failure.
Yeah. There's no excuse for ignorance, is there? God, what was I doing? I'm so stupid.
It really does make you think. About them big old titties. Come on, you lost. Get them out there. Tessa shows up, crying about this whole situation, and the two make up. We finish with Kurtz bringing up the bet and gets kicked in the face for it. Tomorrow, though, we have more robot versus robot competition when we get to episode 14 of Fullmetal Panic.